The sudden flash of blue light in the university observatory wasn't something Professor Marcus Rivera had prepared for in his 15 years of teaching astrophysics. One moment he was adjusting the massive telescope for his graduate seminar, and the next, a humanoid figure materialized beside him, bathed in a soft azure glow. "Greetings, Earth scientist," the figure said, in perfect English with a melodic lilt that reminded Marcus of wind chimes. "I am Kira, emissary of the Lumina Collective." Marcus blinked rapidly, his mind racing to process what was happening. The being before him appeared female, with iridescent skin that shifted between pale blue and lavender, and hair that seemed to float as if underwater despite the normal gravity of the room. I'm Professor Marcus Rivera," he managed to say, gripping the edge of the telescope platform for support. "Department of Astrophysics at Westlake University." "Your transmissions have reached our system," Kira explained, gesturing to the stars visible through the observatory's dome. "We've been studying your language and customs for some time. Your research on dark matter particles particularly interested our scientists." Marcus nodded slowly, his academic curiosity beginning to override his shock. "The quantum resonance theory, that was just published last month." "Our receivers are quite advanced," Kira said with what appeared to be a smile. "I have been sent as the first diplomat to establish formal contact with your academic institutions." In the days that followed, Kira became the center of attention at Westlake. The university president arranged for a special research group with Marcus as the lead liaison. Kira attended lectures, participated in discussions, and demonstrated knowledge far beyond Earth's current understanding of physics. One evening, as they were finishing a late session in the lab, Marcus's colleague Professor Janelle Thompson stopped by with coffee. "You look exhausted, Marcus," Janelle said, setting a cup beside him. "James and I were worried about you. Are you sleeping at all?" Marcus rubbed his eyes. "Not much, too exciting, too much to learn." "You need rest," Janelle insisted. "Remember last conference when you were so sleep-deprived you told the entire physics department you missed spooning with your ex?" Marcus flushed. "I was delirious from jet lag." "What is this spooning you reference?" Kira asked, suddenly interested. She had been quietly observing star charts nearby. Janelle laughed. "It's when two people lie together, one curled behind the other. It's intimate, comforting." "Ah," Kira nodded seriously. "A human combat technique for exhaustion." No, Marcus began, but Janelle's phone rang, and she excused herself, leaving his explanation hanging. Later that night, as Marcus prepared to drive home, Kira approached him with an unexpected request. "Your university accommodations are not ideal for my research," she said. "Too many interruptions from curious scientists. I would learn more about Earth culture in a genuine home environment." Marcus hesitated. "You want to stay with me?" "Is that inappropriate?" Kira asked. "I've studied your protocols. Visiting scholars often engage in homestays for cultural immersion." Marcus couldn't argue with that logic, and honestly, the opportunity to learn more about Luminan culture was too tempting to pass up. "I suppose that would be acceptable," he said finally. "My apartment has a spare room." Kira's skin pulsed with bright blue light, apparently a sign of pleasure. "Excellent. I am particularly interested in observing ordinary human routines, and perhaps you can demonstrate this spooning technique. It seems like an important survival skill if it prevents exhaustion." Marcus opened his mouth to correct her misunderstanding, then closed it again. That particular clarification could wait for another day. "Let's get your things," he said instead, wondering exactly what he was getting himself into. Marcus awoke to the sound of clattering in his kitchen. For a brief, disoriented moment, he forgot about his extraterrestrial houseguest until he walked into the kitchen to find Kira arranging his cereal boxes by color rather than alphabetically. "Good morning, Professor," Kira said, her skin shifting to a warm yellow hue. "I've been studying your food storage techniques. They seem inefficient." Marcus yawned and reached for the coffee maker. Some would call it organized chaos. "An oxymoron," Kira observed. "Fascinating." Over breakfast, Marcus explained his teaching schedule for the day. "You're welcome to join my lectures, or you can stay here and rest." "Rest is unnecessary," Kira replied. "My species requires only brief meditation cycles every third rotation. I would prefer to observe more human behaviors." Throughout the day, Kira followed Marcus like a shadow, taking notes on her translucent tablet about everything from how humans greeted each other to the strange ritual of standing in line for coffee. Her questions were endless and often embarrassingly loud. That evening, exhausted from fielding questions and curious stares from students, Marcus collapsed onto his couch and turned on the television. A romantic comedy was playing, featuring a couple cuddling in bed. That position, Kira said suddenly, pointing at the screen. It's the spooning technique your colleague mentioned. Well, yes, Marcus admitted, feeling heat rise to his cheeks. But it's not a technique for combat or survival. It's a way people show affection. Kira's brow furrowed. Affection through physical alignment, interesting strategy. Marcus changed the subject quickly, but later that night as he drifted toward sleep his bedroom door opened. Before he could react, the bed shifted, and suddenly Kira was pressed against his back, one arm wrapped firmly around his torso. Kira, he gasped, fully awake now, what are you doing? Practicing the spooning technique, she replied matter-of-factly. You seemed fatigued, your colleague indicated this prevents exhaustion. Marcus sat up, turning to face the alien. In the dim light her skin glowed a gentle purple. That's not, spooning is something that happens between people who are romantically involved. Oh, Kira tilted her head. So it is a combat technique but for attracting mates. No, it's not combat at all, Marcus sighed, realizing how difficult this concept might be for someone from another culture. It's comfort, closeness. Humans need physical touch sometimes. Then I have not erred, Kira stated confidently. You require comfort. I can provide this service as part of my cultural research. Before Marcus could protest further, Kira had maneuvered him back into a spooning position. Too tired to argue and oddly comforted by her presence, Marcus eventually fell asleep, wondering if alien diplomatic protocols included anything about appropriate boundaries. The university was abuzz with excitement over Kira's presence, but Marcus found himself increasingly distracted. For 3 nights in a row, Kira had appeared in his room, insisting on practicing spooning techniques. Each time, he weakly objected before surrendering to the strange comfort of her presence. You seem troubled, Professor, Kira noted as they walked across campus. Is my research causing you discomfort? Marcus ran a hand through his hair. Not exactly. It's just that on Earth certain types of physical contact have specific implications. Ah, Kira nodded sagely. You fear others will think we are engaging in reproductive behaviors. A passing student's eyes widened and Marcus quickly steered Kira toward a more private area. Could we maybe use different terminology? And yes, that's part of it. Your species has many arbitrary rules about physical proximity, Kira observed. On Lumina, touch is medicinal. We believe in energetic transfer. That evening, Marcus decided a proper cultural education was in order. He prepared a homemade dinner and selected several movies that showcased different types of human relationships. Today's lesson is Human Relationships 101, he announced. They watched as he explained the differences between familial, platonic, and romantic affection. Kira was particularly fascinated by the concept of kissing. You press food intake orifices together as a sign of attraction. How do you determine it won't lead to bacterial exchange? Despite himself, Marcus laughed. That's part of the risk of human connection, I suppose. As the evening progressed, their positions shifted. What began as sitting at opposite ends of the couch evolved into Kira leaning against his shoulder. Marcus found himself hyper-aware of the subtle glow emanating from her skin, now a deep, contented blue. I believe I understand now, Kira said softly as the final movie ended. Spooning is not combat, it's communication without words. Marcus nodded, suddenly aware of how close their faces were. Exactly. That night when Kira appeared at his bedroom door, something had changed. She didn't immediately climb into bed but stood hesitantly at the threshold. May I join you for the spooning ritual? She asked formally. I find I sleep better with this practice. Marcus felt something shift between them, an acknowledgement that whatever was happening transcended cultural research. Yes, he said simply, lifting the edge of his blanket. 3 weeks into Kira's stay, Marcus received an unexpected visitor at his office. A tall man in a crisp black suit introduced himself as Agent Terrence from the International Space Agency. Professor Rivera, we need to discuss your extraterrestrial house guest, he said without preamble. Marcus's heart sank. Is there a problem? Not exactly, Agent Terrence replied. But her superiors have made contact. They're requesting her immediate return to complete her mission report. The news hit Marcus with unexpected force. He'd grown accustomed to Kira's presence, her morning contemplation of sunrise, her endless questions, the comfort of her arms around him at night. The thought of her leaving created a hollow feeling in his chest. When he returned home, Kira was waiting with dinner prepared, an attempt at lasagna that looked more like abstract art. I've been studying your cooking programs, she explained proudly. This is a traditional comfort food, yes. Marcus nodded, unsure how to break the news. They ate an unusual silence until Kira finally spoke. "You've received communication about my departure." Marcus looked up, surprised. "How did you know?" "Your biochemical signals have changed," she said simply. "You're experiencing distress." "When do you leave?" he asked, pushing food around his plate. "Tomorrow at sunrise." Kira's skin had dulled to a muted gray. "Unless." "Unless what?" "I have a confession," Kira said, her voice softer than usual. "I have not been entirely forthright with you." Marcus set down his fork. "About what?" "About spooning," she admitted. "I accessed your internet resources 3 weeks ago. I learned its true meaning the second day of my stay." Marcus stared at her. "You knew all this time?" Kira's skin flushed a deep rose color. Embarrassment, he'd learned. "Yes," I continued, "because I enjoy the proximity to you specifically. This is not standard research protocol." The realization washed over Marcus like a wave. "So when you would hold me at night." "It was not for science," Kira confirmed. "It was because I developed what humans call feelings. My species forms deep bonds quickly when we find compatible energy patterns." That night, their spooning took on new meaning. Marcus turned to face Kira, tracing the luminescent patterns on her skin with gentle fingers. "What happens now?" he whispered. "I don't know," Kira admitted. "No Luminen has ever bonded with a human before." As sunrise approached, they remained awake, neither willing to lose a moment of their remaining time together. The sunrise that was supposed to mark Kira's departure came and went. In its place arrived another communication, this one directly to Marcus's home computer. A face similar to Kira's but older with deeper blue luminescence appeared on screen. "Professor Rivera, I am Elder Nix of the Luminen Council. Emissary Kira has requested an unprecedented protocol change." Marcus glanced at Kira, who stood tall beside him. "What kind of change?" "She wishes to extend her mission indefinitely," Elder Nix explained, "to serve as a permanent cultural ambassador to Earth. This has never been done before." "And your response?" Marcus asked, holding his breath. "We are curious," Elder Nix replied. "Kira's reports indicate she has discovered something of great value through her research with you, something that might benefit both our worlds." After the communication ended, Kira turned to Marcus, her skin pulsing with colors he'd never seen before, iridescent patterns that seemed to reflect every emotion at once. "I told them about us," she said, "about how human connection operates, about how two beings from different stars can find understanding through something as simple as proximity." "And they approved?" Marcus asked incredulously. "They're scientists like you," Kira smiled. "They value discovery above all else, and what we've discovered together is worthy of further study." In the months that followed, their relationship became both personal and professional. The university created a special position for Kira as interstellar cultural liaison. Together, they published papers on comparative sociology and xenobiology that revolutionized both fields. Their home became a bridge between worlds. Kira installed Luminen meditation crystals beside Marcus's telescope. Marcus learned to prepare foods that complemented Kira's energy needs. They created new rituals that honored both their traditions. 1 year after her arrival, they stood on the roof of the observatory where they'd first met. Above them, the stars of Kira's home system twinkled faintly. "Do you miss it?" Marcus asked as they lay on a blanket, his arms wrapped around her in what had become their natural position. "Sometimes," Kira admitted, "but Luminans believe home is where your energy finds harmony. Mine is here now." She turned in his arms to face him, her forehead touching his. "You know, that first day when I heard about spooning, I truly thought humans had developed an elaborate combat technique." Marcus laughed. "And now?" "Now I understand it's the opposite of combat," Kira said, her skin glowing with the deep purple he'd come to recognize as love. "It's surrender, the willingness to be vulnerable with another being." As they lay together under the vast canopy of stars, bodies aligned in perfect harmony, Marcus reflected on how the universe works in mysterious ways. An alien misunderstanding had led to the greatest discovery of his life, that love transcends the boundaries of worlds, finding its shape in something as simple as two bodies curved together like spoons in a drawer, perfectly matched despite coming from entirely different sets.